welcome to the next season of the Racing Prodigy Golden Ticket Series. This time we're going to be breaking it out in the Radical SR8 around Virginia International Raceway course. For those unfamiliar with the Racing Prodigy Golden Ticket, it is an opportunity for you as a sim racer to get into real life racing and jump into the lower powered, smaller version of this very car, the Radical SR1, and race in the real life Racing Prodigy P3 Championship. So, without further ado, we're going to play our Hotlap, then we'll break it down after a chase lap as well, and get everyone familiar with what you need to do to extract the absolute extremes of this car. So to get things rolling, we're going to start off, or all laps start, coming into turn one, pretty normal braking zone. We're braking pretty much as close as we can get to the one board here, so making sure that you're just getting a nice firm brake input right before that one board. We're being a little bit gentle on the brakes, and then something I was talking about in the Racing Prodigy Discord is really our throttle blips. We're actually just hustling down these downshifts extremely quickly. You actually really want to rely on those throttle blips and the engine braking to really bring the car down to speed. These are super important for bringing the car where you want it to and not overworking the tires. So getting those throttle blips nice and comfortable. You want this to be as smooth as possible. You shouldn't feel any movement in the rear end, and that's going to give you the best chance to get through this corner as good as possible. Getting the car not all the way hooked up to the apex here, but we actually carried really, really good speed, so we were actually able to just drive the car out super nicely through the rest of this corner. Then coming into NASCAR Bend, I like to stay to the right side of the track, opening it up as much as possible. And then we're going to see a little bit of a discolored patch right about here. That's going to be about our braking zone. You can see that right here. That's our braking zone right there, carrying the car in. And then it's not a very hard brake. And then we're straight down in the third gear, carrying the car into the corner, just dragging the nose. As soon as we know that the nose is going to make that apex, that's when we're going to start picking up that throttle. You can see we've confirmed that we're going to make it in, and we start carrying that throttle through the rest of the corner. And then driving the car out all the way to the exit, as much exit curve as you can. Braking right as the end of the curbing here on the right-hand side. Very, very simple and easy to pick up. Getting the car turned in, nice aggressive turn in. You can see the weight really throw itself to the side, using as much of this inside curb as you can get away with, all of the left, and then all of the right here, but don't go over this crest here. If you go over this crest, you risk unsettling the car. We just barely got away with it there. So being cautious of that and making sure that you don't touch this gray patch out here, because that will pull you all the ways out into this outside here. Really just modulating the throttle to really maximize your rear grip here. Really just screaming for help out of these rear tires, trying to get them to grip up as much as possible. They really aren't a fan of the load that you're putting through them. They're very, very easy to spin out, so pay very close attention to how much rear grip you're using, because you can really overuse those tires super easily. Coming through the S is really just about running the shortest line, so using all of this curb, straightest line possible, all of this curb, straightest line possible, all of this curb, straightest line possible as well. And it's quite simple from there. Then we'll roll over into the kink. You can run this in 6th gear, or you can just lift to a downshift into 5th, get a turn in. Not really any good reference points, just making sure that you're turning in here, trying to get the car all the ways over. Even using a little bit of grass here is fine. Then we're going to start braking at about the 2 board here. Just about, yep, a nice hard braking, really quick down those downshifts, trying to use that engine braking very, very aggressively. That last downshift, once we know that we aren't going to unsettle the rear end, and get in the car in very, very tight here. We actually don't use all of the width. I found that it's a lot better to get the car in very early, really mount this curb, and it doesn't suffer from the bumps that are around this corner as much. As soon as you land off that bump, get the car down and out of the corner as quick as possible. You can almost plant the throttle right away and just maximize your grip through there. Then just a quick run down the main straight, just maximizing the gears. You pretty much just stretch them as much as you can without redlining. Then we'll roll into roller coaster, turning in just about the 1 board here, braking at the arrow. So turned it at that 1, braking at the arrow. Really quick down the gears, super fast. Again, those blips are a little bit bigger this time, really, because we don't want to unsettle the car. We'd rather be a little bit higher in the rev range. Turning in quite late, just trying to hook the car through as much of this curb as possible. Right on the bottom, if you hit that apex curb, it will push you wide. So just try to roll the bottom of that curb. Full throttle very, very early. This is a kind of a mini straightaway, so it is really important to maximize your exit out of here. And then driving the car down and into hog pen, turning in kind of right about the end of this curb. So you'll see that curb disappears as we're coming off of it. Using kind of the middle of the car, you can see our view is going right over here, right over the curb. This is probably a little bit too much for the race. This was kind of a perfect lap and nailed this as good as I could. Actually, I think this is my personal best through here. So you can use this. Really tricky, very easy to unsettle the car, very easy to get a slowdown as well. I would recommend maybe just a touch further to the right, just to make sure that you're safe, not picking up that slowdown. Really tackled that kind of transition. Just a little bit of brake once you land, get the nose in. Soon as you're down and into this corner, full throttle it out. Really need to throw the car through this corner aggressively to get the rotation, and know that you're committed on the full way out. You'll never make it down to that inside curb without losing speed, and you're going to use all of this exit curb. Car will bottom out here, so try to get off of this gray patch as quick as possible. That will cost you some straight line speed, but other than that, really strong lap coming through here. Really excited to see what you guys can do. And one of the most exciting cars in the P3 Championship Golden tickets. And really look forward to seeing what you guys can do out on track.